Now, I'm joined in studio by Mossy Heinen, I hope I pronounced it right, and who is one of the organisers of 5 free events taking place in the Desmond Complex starting tonight and every Thursday night over the next 5 Thursdays from 7:15pm to 9pm. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, I hope I'm picking up there. No, I can't. That Mike could say we are. If the lads aren't picking it up outside, they might come in there and give me a hand, but I'd say it's okay. Mossy, the headline on the poster says Sprit Space, Spirituality and the Big Questions. Before we get into the details of the next 5 Thursdays and what people can expect, we might talk about your background. You were a priest in the Diocese of Limerick. How many years were you?
Yeah, I was ordained in 1986. In 1998, I suppose I resigned from the priesthood. For the very prosaic reason I fell in love and had a child. Yeah. So but that has never left me, the sense of mission and call.
You said that, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm as strong as ever in my sense of mission. And I suppose what I wanted to do for the longest time is to create conversations around faith. You know, that people, but not in any kind of pietistic or any kind of churchy kind of way, but in a way to go outside of the normal church and safe places, kind of theologically safe places, and to give people a chance to think about, you know, what's really important and about faith and spirituality. As I say, the big questions.
Yes, the big questions.
And I suppose at a time when there's a kind of, people talk about a meaning crisis, so in that kind of context, for those who are open, those who are searching for answers, and not everybody is. Most people, there's too much going on and they just don't have time.
Yeah, I suppose I mean to say this at the start, it might sound like that we're having a debate, but we're having a conversation around this, and I might throw questions at Mossy that might sound like that I'm stupid, but not everyone knows the answers, and I might know the answers, and some of the listeners might know the answers. So it's important to say that, I'd like people to get in touch as well with their views on this. I suppose just to go back to the priest, being in the priesthood, did you enjoy it?
Loved it, absolutely. Sure, look, I ticked all the boxes, I suppose I made a bit of a Horlicks of celibacy.
Yeah,
that's about that. You know, I fell in love and had a child, and but like I would, if priests were allowed to be married, and that's, I don't need to go down that. That's
a conversation for another day.
There's nothing else. Like I loved the life. It's the thing that made most sense to me in my life. And really, I always saw myself as somebody who wanted to tell the story of Jesus of Nazareth in good times and bad, and you know, and wanted to journey. I used to love journeying with people, especially those who struggled around faith, those who were honest, asked good questions, and especially those who wouldn't consider themselves churchy, but had some really deep honesty and yearning and searching.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing. So that kind of that always gave me life, and it continues to give me life, and I'm trying to find a way to be faithful to that calling in my heart, in a possibly non-churchy kind of way.
Right, yeah.
But yet all about faith, all about the big
It's about
big
faith,
stuff.
yeah. I suppose you told us in your email you never lost your sense of mission. You said that you feel especially called to engage with people who have walked away from the church but still consider themselves to be spiritual and are searching for deeper meaning in their lives. Why do you think people have walked away from the church?
Sure. Look, well,
I know we won't get into the stuff in the past, but I know COVID has had an effect on the church. A lot of masses are streamed online. A lot of masses are on radio. We broadcast the mass ourselves here every Sunday morning.
There are loads of reasons, you see. Like it's complex and multi-layered, but there are as well as the egregious stuff that the church was involved in. There's also I suppose there's a secularization of society.
Yes.
You know, where particular narratives become the most predominant one, I suppose there was an interesting moment, and we've probably gone beyond that. You know, the new atheists.
Yes.
Where they kind of captured the spirit of the age, like human beings have come of age. We don't need God. We don't need religion. We don't need like we create our own meaning and all that kind of stuff. And I think that there's so there's loads of reasons. You know, the world is a more secular place, as I said, and with that narrative, like, and that kind of narrative is many people are finding unsatisfactory.
Yes.
And they're saying, there must be more to this. Now, they're not sure what the more is.
Mm-hmm, yeah, there's a lot of questions out there that we don't know the answers to.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that's that's more than that's. There's questions we don't know the answer to outside of the church as well. This isn't the first time you and your colleagues have organised something like this. The idea for this emerged after you and your colleagues completed the lay pastoral ministry programme in the Diocese of Limerick. What is involved in that? And it might sound like a stupid question, but I don't know, and some of the listeners might know either.
Well, I suppose it's based on the realisation that the mission of the church involves the whole people of God, not just the clergy. And the lay pastoral ministry programme was a training up. It was 2 years or 2.5 years of pretty intense kind of work. Well, we'd meet once a month, and so there'd be a lot of input, and people were invited to do, from theology and psychology and all of that. And people that were invited to do their own reflection as well. So there was, at the end of that, then, you'd be kind of theologically trained. Now, so it's basically pretty intensive. The course which had an academic part, obviously important because we need to be clear thinking, but there was also some kind of psychological thing, and there was very much a spiritual component. So people were there was a group of us who were kind of trained up in that, and so and out of that then different groups are doing, and different individuals are involved in the diocese doing different projects. So this was one thing that a group of us, a small cohort from within the larger group of lay pastoral ministers, we came together and we said we wanted to engage people who maybe might fit the cohort spiritual but not religious,
right?
Or whatever take them, or whatever way they might find describe themselves. We wanted to especially engage with that cohort and to create a safe space, a neutral space as well, a non-churchy space, where people could be free to reflect on some of these big kind of issues, and wouldn't have to sign up to anything. So, like, that's the whole thing, the neutral space and the possibility of reflecting on the big questions, and the assurance that people would be listened to very much. So it's a humble attempt at creating conversation around faith.
Yeah, it's all about conversation.
It's all about conversation.
You had 5 evening sessions in the Hook and Ladder Cafe in Limerick City on the big questions. You said in your email to us that you had between 20 to 30 people each evening. It was quite an eclectic mix of people, not just the usual suspects. Now I'm going to ask you to explain what you mean by the usual suspects. So I suppose that was people going in there that were curious, kind of. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, there was that. Yeah, the usual suspects are the folk, or God bless them, who are just go to every event, and who are genuinely hungry, and who are committed to faith, but they want to nourish themselves because, if the only nourishment you get is the weekly sermon or whatever, it's grand, but it's people are looking for more. So you'll have those who are committed. And the people that we love to see, but what was nice about the Hook and Ladder experience was that there was a kind of eclectic group. There were people who didn't fit into the kind of the usual suspects kind of role. And who were curious and who were some children of the universe even, so that was kind of neat.
I'm just going through my questions here, but I suppose so maybe another question is, so forgive me, if all religions are welcome, or maybe people that have no religious beliefs are welcome to these events. That's
it's not an attempt proselytize, but yet like we're coming, like those of us who are hosting this, like we're obviously coming, all of us are coming from, we are a Christian commitment, like there's no but the agenda is not to kind of force any kind of beliefs or any of that kind of stuff. It's just about creating a space where people can maybe consider stuff that they wouldn't have considered before. Or what's it T.S. Eliot said about going back to the place where he started from, but discovering it for the first time. So sometimes...
Say that again for me now in case someone missed it.
It's not the exact quotation, but
right.
he had some kind of notion that you return to where you started from, but discovering it for the first time. So you can have a certain view about all these things, and maybe there's a time in life where maybe you can revisit them and say, okay, there's more to this. And what I had rejected was a pale reflection of the reality of the thing, you know. So it's that chance as well. Now it's all, you see, the most important thing about this is the freedom, right?
Yeah.
Like people have to have freedom that to come to their own, you know, to do their own thinking.
Yeah. And I'm going to stop you there because we have to go to a break.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Yeah.
If you're just after tuning in, you're listening to The Exchange in West Limerick 102 FM. Myself, Kieran McAuliffe, with you until 1 o'clock. And we are talking about Sprit Space, spirituality and the big questions. Free event coming to Newcastlewest, starting tonight, running over the next 5 Thursdays from 7:15 to 9 p.m. It's taking place in the Desmond Complex Centre here in Newcastlewest, our community centre, I suppose. V42WT20 is the air code.
The Exchange, brought to you by Corcoran's Furniture, now based in Newcastlewest, Killarney, Tralee and Cahersiveen. Corcoran's Furniture, leading the way in home furnishings and interiors.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in today, and thanks for all the text messages as well. I think we could be having some issues streaming online at the moment. We were this morning. I thought they were sorted out, but I think we still could be having issues. A few texts in there about it. As I said before 1 o'clock there, we'll be talking to the FTD brothers about the 32 marathons they're running across Ireland. They're in Galway. I had a chat with them yesterday evening because obviously they're busy, so I had to pre-record the interview. Before the break there, we were talking to Mossy about the spirit, space, spirituality and the big questions coming up in Newcastlewest. Mossy's still with us in studio. I suppose, Mossy, we'll take a look at the poster. There are many big questions in life, especially when we contemplate the future. Questions such as, what makes my life significant? How will I support myself? Who will accompany me on my journey? Do you want to elaborate a bit on those points?
Well, they're the questions behind the questions. Like the poster goes on to say, however, arguably, even bigger questions include, is there actually a God? And what brings meaning to my life? So, there are many big questions in life. But our own, we've picked on 5 big questions,
and they are big questions. Like, and I think people will be very interested in this. And so tonight, the first night is the 14th of May. The second one is the 21st of May, the 28th of May, the 4th of June, and the 11th of June. They're all on Thursday nights. So we'll just take a look at. We won't go into too much detail, but I suppose. The first one tonight is there a God?
Is there a God? Yeah, jeepers,
Yeah,
okay.
Just a small bit. How is the night going to? How is tonight going to go?
Yeah, well, as it happens, I'll be facilitating this tonight, and so a bit of input. There's on the way people have approached this question, and a bit of personal sharing, and then the chance for people then to discuss in a group context or groups, depending how many are there. You know, we'll have some questions to reflect on, and this whole thing will be facilitated. So it's like a conversation. So I suppose I'll kick off the conversation, and I'll throw out some ideas, and
right.
invite people then to do their own reflection, and also like the feedback as well, to ask questions. See, like, it's a strange thing, like that we humans would interrogate the question, like, who are we? Even we're only grains of sand on the seashore. Yet, like we have been given rational faculties, we've been given brains and hearts, and we human beings are people who grapple with questions.
Yes, yeah.
And is there a God is the most fundamental question or not? Because, like, what I will really say tonight is, if there isn't a God, I think we're screwed.
Yeah.
I think it all goes to, if I may say the vernacular, it all goes to shit. That's if I may.
Well, I know, myself, I know, I think everyone listening today knows where tragedy has come to some door.
Yeah.
And it's come to my own door plenty of times, and it has come to every family's door. But I suppose I'm kind of gone off my train of thought there now. I suppose, I'm back again, and I've spoke to people that have gone through tragedies, and they've told me that their fate is what has kept them going.
Yeah. God isn't obvious.
Yeah.
And there are, we can all oscillate between faith and doubt, between knowing and not knowing. But yet, I think it's an important question. Apparently the Buddha reckoned that it wasn't an important question because he said you could never know. With respect, I would disagree with that. I think it's hugely important because I think...
Say that again now.
Yeah, the Buddha of happy memory, he apparently he said that he wasn't interested in that question because he said, how would you know that there's no way of knowing? But I think that's ultimately a cop-out. I think,
right.
Yeah. No, obviously, there's no proving of God.
Some might disagree with that. Yeah, there's people listening probably might disagree with that and agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
That's fine, yeah. But I think it's really in terms of whole meaning and all that, and it's not just an academic question; it's an existential question for you. It's a gut question.
Right.
It's a gut question. Like when we cry out, are we crying out into the vacuum, or is there someone there that hears us?
Yes, right.
These are ultimately we can't ever prove it, but there's enough there to suggest that we can make sense. Yes, that we can almost take a punt and say, well, look, my own life experience, and of course, it's never just an intellectual thing. It's all about our own experience as well, and reflecting on that, and where we've engaged with the mystery of God. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, it's a big question. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose there just another thing I'm going to say is that I've talked to a lot of people on my travels, and some people that are struggling with things going on in their life, and something has come over them at particular times. You'd wonder, you'd have to, I suppose, that they feel that someone came to them and gave them guidance, and
and that's real. Yeah. So it's all and it's about it's about respectfully engaging with the question, and with humility and a recognition that, look, if you say, is there a God? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I hope there is, and I believe in the core of my being that there is a God, but I'm also know that I could be wrong.
Yes.
And that's about the best you can do.
Yeah. So that's tonight. Is there a God? Week 2, has science made faith in God irrelevant?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a big question. You see, now not everybody might be drawn to a thing like that, but the narrative is. Of the secular narrative is that science has made basically you don't need God anymore. All the things, all the questions that seem to be answered by God or explained by God, all the natural world, the phenomenon, in the previous age. So the narrative goes now. Well, science has said, science can tell us, everything, but. That's actually a false polarity,
right?
A false binary between science and faith. That they're not. It will be argued that science hasn't made faith in God irrelevant. And actually, if you were to think about where science emerged from, it often emerged from Christians who were so in love with God's creation that they wanted to understand it.
Yes.
And the impetus for science came from faith.
Yeah.
That science was almost a faith trying to seek understanding of the way the world worked.
Right.
So there wasn't any kind of polarity between them or binary between them is a false binary. At least that's going to be our contention.
That's your contention, and again, some people might agree or disagree with that.
Of course,
and that's the whole point of this, I suppose, is have that conversation around it.
That conversation,
I think the 28th of May, how can a good God allow suffering?
Yeah, that's And last year that was very powerful.
That's the one now that stands out to me. And
again, we do a disservice to God and to people's experience if we minimise the impact of suffering, and if we don't. Sometimes the only response to suffering is silence, and staying with and just compassion and empathy, and staying with the person. And the real, I suppose, we'll argue that the Christian response really and to suffering is the image of the crucified God on the cross.
Yeah,
that's somehow that God took no suffering from the inside. Now that's the approach. It's still maybe that poses more questions than answers for some.
Yeah,
but it's the but for others then that actually becomes a comfort and a way of making sense of it without ever fully making sense. Like all of these questions, in a way that they're kind of open-ended. There's we get partial answers.
Right.
We get.
That's important to say that you just you're not going to. People aren't going to walk away and say, "Well, we've got a bit more information, but we still have questions."
And I think as well, you see, what we'd maybe like to create is an ad hoc community.
Right.
Even in its own terms for 5 nights, that people would have a share. That people would actually really enjoy the experience of reflecting on stuff together. That has its own dynamic, apart from the questions.
Yeah.
And that people would discover, that a greater depth within themselves, and an ability to engage with stuff and to engage with other people and to talk about stuff that's really important.
Yeah.
And when they don't often get that opportunity.
Yes.
So there's all of that going as well,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I'm just going to jump away from the poster there for a minute.
Okay.
There's also a suggestion that Generation Z are much more open to spiritual and religion than previous generations.
No, that's and there's been some research done. Now again, they pulled back a bit on the research in England. The Bible Society did a YouGov survey, and apparently they were kind of let down. Whatever they over-egged it and they overstated the sense. They talked about a revival, but so that may not be. That's contended, but there are pockets certainly of Gen Z becoming being more open, being more open.
Yeah.
The extent is to maybe to be questioned, but there certainly are. There's been a huge increase in adults being baptized now.
Really, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. That's news to me.
And adults, and also in France, there's been a massive increase. Yeah. So there is something but the data
there's still work to be done on that.
There's still work to be done on that.
Yeah. I suppose we'll have to wrap it up down in the next few minutes, but I suppose we've gone as far as the 28th of May. The 4th of June, is the Christian faith just a moral myth?
Okay, well, that's the whole thing. Is this story of Jesus, is did he even exist? And then how do we make sense of the story of the death and resurrection and of Jesus? I suppose bottom line is, did he actually rise from the dead, or was that just a kind of a symbolic thing? Well, what was it somebody said? Was it Flannery O'Connor, one of those writers? If it's only, maybe not her, if there's only a symbol, a metaphor, I couldn't be bothered with it. Is there more? Is there a historical basis to Christianity that actually can have a kind of a claim on us today or not. So again, that's an interesting. That's an interesting
one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the 11th of June, then the final one is what is the meaning of life?
Oh yeah. Well, that's that. That's a big question. Yeah. I would personally contend that all a lot of the other questions kind of lead up to that.
Yeah.
Whether one believes or not in God, I think has impact on meaning of life.
Yes.
Whether one, how one understands suffering and frames suffering has in fact a meaning of life. How one connects with the Christian faith as a living reality, I think that impacts on meaning of life.
I suppose people can go any night. They don't have to go the 5 nights. But I suppose encourage people to go the first night and see
the first night and see what they think. The whole thing. Look, we want it to be very easy.
Yeah,
and
it's a conversation. It's not
a conversation. Yeah,
and it's good to have conversations around it.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just give the details there again. It's Sprit Space, Spirituality and the Big Questions. It's a free event. That's important to mention as well. Will there be tea and coffee?
There will,
that's nice as well, and people can get a cup of tea. There are many big questions in life, especially when we contemplate the future questions, such as what makes my life significant? How will I support myself? Who will accompany me on my journey? However, arguably, even bigger questions include, is there actually a God? What brings meaning to life? And you can check out details, I suppose, on Facebook as well. You're on Facebook, are you?
Yeah, we're on the parish. The Father Raphael has kindly taken on the thing of putting all this on the parish the Newcastlewest Parish Facebook page.
Yeah, and it's on tonight. It's starting Thursday nights 7:15 to 9 p.m.
Yeah,
and it's in the Desmond Complex. And people can register their interest, but they don't have to. They can just show up. Yeah,
just show up.
Would you want to give out the phone number there that's on the poster, Mossy?
The phone number is 087 2314808.
Yeah, and you can email spiritualspacelimerick@gmail.com, or you can just turn up on the night. Mossy, thanks for coming in. Is there anything you want to add before we finish up?
No, just thank you very much for having me. Just love to have. I think just might be good for a whole number of different cohorts. Maybe if there were young, feisty young adults who are full of questions and think it's all a load of horse manure. And are very sceptical. I'd love to meet a whole cohort of sceptical people, and we'd sit down and have a conversation. I'd love that. Are people? Are people middle-aged people and older who are at this stage, like in life, are saying, okay, look, what the feck is it all about? I'd love them as well. And the more bolshy, the better.
Maybe people that are at a crossroads and they want to.
Crossroads, and also as well, people who would be ostensibly considered to be religious, but are kind of are eager maybe to develop their own ability to talk maybe to their own kids, maybe to engage in conversations, and they would like to be empowered to be able to offer some. What was the saying? St. Peter says, be able to give a reason for the faith that you have, an account of, to explain to people why you believe what you believe. So it might be, this might be a good space for people like that as well.
Yeah. Perfect. Mossy, we have to wrap it up. Thanks very much for coming in, Mossy Heinen, if I get it right. Yeah,
you got it right.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. Thanks very much for coming in. Best of luck with the next 5 Thursdays.